think you broke it.
Okay, I see that we are on now. It's 7 o'clock, so we'll open the hearing. First, notification that this is being recorded in accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law. And it will be broadcast over the public access, Lunenburg Public Access. I'll introduce members up here. Lisa is our administrative person, keeps us all going in the right direction. Al Gravel, I'm Ray Beal, Don Bowen, and Paul Doherty. This is normally a 5-person board. Obviously, there's only 4 voting members here tonight. So that leaves us with a choice that I'm going to present you with. In order for a special permit to be granted, it needs to have a supermajority of yea votes, which in this means 4. So if you have a 5-member voting panel, you can have 1 dissenting vote and still be granted the permit. If you have a 4-member voting panel, you don't have anything but a full agreement in order to carry the day. So given that we would normally have 5 voting members because we have additional associate members that would sit in the absence of a regular member. But tonight, for a variety of reasons, we're unable to have that number, so that leaves us with the situation I just described. And so, in recognition of that, I would leave it up to you whether to proceed with the hearing. If we vote, and there is a dissenting vote among the 4 people voting, that would be a denial. And so that is a choice that I would present you with. We can continue the hearing to the next meeting date, which I understand is 2 weeks from tonight, be it, what, 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
So, what is
Fifth
your...
member is absent, you said?
Excuse me?
The 5th member is absent, or
Right.
there is no 5th?
For a variety of
open-
reasons,
But by the open meeting law, they
yeah.
can review the meeting minutes and be a voting member in the next.
No,
No, they'd have to vote
No.
tonight.
You need to get up to the mic because we're online.
And identify yourself too, please.
Sure. My name's Nick Pauling. I'm with Goldsmith Preston Ringwall. I'm the site engineer for the applicant. We understand. We'd like to proceed tonight, that we need the unanimous decision.
okay.
Thank you.
We'll start with Lisa reading the application and any other submitted communications.
Okay, this is an application for a special permit, Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 9, Zoning Board of Appeals. The name and address of each applicant is 339 Electric Avenue Corporation, 339 Electric Avenue in Lunenburg. The undersigned hereby makes application as follows: seeking permission to operate a dog boarding facility and daycare. The proposed action has not begun. The basis for this application is found in the following section of the Lunenburg zoning bylaw, Section 4631K. The street address of the property is 339 Electric Avenue, Lunenburg, assesses map 93, parcel 55. The name and address of each holder of legal title to the land which is the subject of this case is 339 Electric Avenue Corporation, 339 Electric Avenue, Lunenburg, Mass. And the deed is recorded in Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, Book 7591, page 252, and recorded March 19th, 2012. If the undersigned has any knowledge of a prior appeal, application, or petition concerning the land or building involved in this case, describe the case and the dates involved. December 8th, 1993, Ronald C. and Brenda M. Gilbert were granted a special permit for opening monument sales, including etching and carving. In April 16th, 2009, Diane and Kelly Miller were granted a special permit for opening a dog boarding facility and dog daycare. The special permit questions were answered as follows. So the question is, will the proposed action be injurious or dangerous to the public health or unduly hazardous because of traffic congestion, danger of fire or explosion, or other reasons? The reply is, there will be no traffic congestion in our business. People arrive and leave at different times of the day. We consider 3 customers in our lobby to be busy for us. Where our location is now, there are many businesses in the same plaza, and we have never had a problem. In this business, we are responsible for people's pets. There is no way that we would have anything on the property that would cause fire, explosion, or any other harmful item. B, will this action have a material adverse effect on the value of land and buildings in the neighborhood or on the amenities of the neighborhood? The reply is, we would not have any material or items at our business that would have an effect of the land value or neighborhood. If anything, a business like ours will bring great customers to the area. We have people drive from New York, Connecticut, Boston, and many other towns to board their pets with us. If this was to pass, we would be putting a brand-new building up, which would increase the value of the land. Question C, will the proposed action be operated with reasonable regard for order and sightliness if an open use? C, we run an extremely clean facility. That is what our customers notice first about our business. Where we rent now, we have never had a complaint from our neighbors or our landlord for not being clean. D, the question is, will the proposed action produce noise, vibration, dust, odor, heat, or glare observable at the lot lines in amounts clearly detrimental to the normal use of adjacent property? The reply is, our business has no vibration, smoke, dust, heat, or glare that any of our neighbors will notice. As far as odor, we keep our facility extremely clean, so when you walk into our facility, whether we have 10 dogs or 30 dogs, you should not be able to smell them. Unless it's a rainy day, you may smell some wet dogs. As for odor right now, the dog poop we pick up goes into a trash bin, which gets thrown into our dumpster out back. We have never had a complaint for odor problems. We have our trash picked up once a week, so we don't have problems with that. As for the noise level in our existing facility, our neighbors can hear dogs bark a little, but you have to remember that they share the same building as us. They have never complained to us that it is disrupting their business. Most of the time, the dogs are only really barking when any new dogs come in and get excited. The following additional information is provided because it is considered important to this case. The development plan review application is currently under review with the planning board. This is signed August 19th, 2015. Well, it's not signed. 339 Electric Avenue Corporation, 339 Electric Avenue, Lunenburg, Mass. Attached to it is a list of abutters and a copy of the field card from the assessor's office, a reduced copy of the plan. The large plan is in front of you there. And there are several letters. There's one here dated July 2015. Do you want me to read the recent ones and not the...
Yes. Why don't you
Okay,
read
so-
the recent ones?
This is from the Leominster Monument Company. To whom it may concern, under the authority granted to me by corporative vote, Worcester Northern District Registry of Deeds, 7591, page 250, I authorize Goldsmith Preston Ringwall, Inc., 39 Main Street, Suite 301 Air, to act as my agent in administrative and civil engineering matters pertaining to the proposed commercial development at the subject site. This authorization covers the execution of application forms, presentation of plans and designs, and communication with involved parties. Respectfully, Charles H. Miller, President of 339 Electric Ave Corporation. And then there's a survey by Yahoo Mail attached. Do you want me to read that?
That was presented the last time.
Yeah, and all the letters were from the first hearing that we held back in 2009. So I will not read those, and then a copy of the new plans that they've provided. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Lisa.
You're welcome.
At this point, we'll give the applicant or applicant's representative an opportunity to make comments on the application or submit any additional material that you might wish to present. Following that, the schedule calls for public comment. I see no public members here, but if they arrive, they certainly will have the opportunity. Any speakers, please come forward to the mic, because as it was mentioned before, we are on being recorded, and we need to have that audible. The members then will have an opportunity to raise questions, and after any public comment, we would bring it to the board for deliberation and a vote. So please, if you
Good evening. Again, my name is Nick Pauling. I'm with Goldsmith, Preston, Ringwall. We're the site engineers for the property. With me, we have the members of 339 Electric Ave Corporation. In the front row here, Kelly, Diane, and Charles, as you see them. Again, just to briefly go over the application, this is a special use, special permit for a use of a kennel. It's a refiling of an application that was done in 2009, 2008, 2009, which lapsed by a couple of months, just due to some timing and some coordinations as far as the full development of what was going to be going on the site. We are under, we have an application in with the planning board for development site plan review. So we have a little bit more information than we did back when we originally filed the application back in 2009. I've brought a board that's highlighted a little bit to kind of identify the plans that were submitted that shows what the actual limits of the proposed building as well as parking and things like that I'd like to briefly go over. Again, we're looking for a use. The building that we're proposing is to actually knock down the existing 3,700 square foot building and construct two buildings. One is actually a 6,400 square foot building, and one is a maintenance storage shed that's 500 square feet. So approximately the square footage of structures on the property would actually about double. Associated with those structures is paved parking located within the allowable setbacks in the front of the building. With one access point narrowing the existing curb cut that's about 90 to 100 feet down to a reasonable and defined 30 feet. The building, as it is proposed, will actually have three uses in it. One is the existing monument company, which is actually currently located on the site in the building. It will have a space within the building. Another use is actually the kennel, per the zoning bylaw use. What this use is going to entail is actually a small retail component where customers could buy dog food, chew toys, things, anything that kind of pet supplies, really. The third use is also ancillary to the kennel, which is a grooming facility, sink, drop your dog off, let them play around and give them a bath type thing. The majority of the building is actually what would be considered kind of the storage and the runs of the kennel use, the cages, the pens and such. Also, what is associated is a fenced-in outdoor play area. This is supervised outside play area that is only going to be used during business hours, There is no free passage of the animals from the structure out into the fenced-in area. It's always under supervised control. And lastly is really just the other items that were kind of required. Stormwater management is handled through the use of best management practices. All the site is going to be sheet flowing to one local low point, enter into a deep sump-hooded catch basin, and then get into a infiltration basin that's located along the southeastern corner of the property. As I said, as I mentioned, we're with the planning board now. The comments that we've received have been very limited. The site has been peer-reviewed with relatively minor revisions. No outstanding comments, really. And then as far as departmental comments, there's some question about the grooming facility, if traps would be needed or such on any of the plumbing and such. I can certainly go over anything else that the board might have in detail or answer any questions. I know that you'd probably like to hear from the public at this point.
Okay. Seeing that there's no public here, I think that we'll give the board members an opportunity to raise questions and interact with you since you're still at the mic.
Sure.
Unless one of these folks have something additional to say. No? Okay.
Okay.
Al, would you like to?
Okay, first, I would like you to go over the actual plan as far as your setbacks, front, side, rear. The outdoor kennel area runs in the building itself.
So as far as the building area, the outside kennel area is actually this yellow area that's shown on the plan. Again, it's all fenced-in area that will have multiple access points from the storage, or not the storage, the pen areas and such. If I could flip this over, I can get into a little bit better as far as what the building will look. This is actually the last sheet of the plan that was also provided to you. The building has been turned slightly. Developed a monument. It's a 35 by 40 foot square area. It's all of the storage of display monuments and such. The main entrance, or the center of the building, will enter into the store area of the kennel use, the retail use, which will then have a single entry.
Excuse me, you need your mic up, they can't hear you.
I didn't want to get too loud, I'm sorry. We'll have a single entry back into the area. This is an approximate layout. What you can see is you have pens along one wall, then you have 3 large indoor play areas. Again, this is a, if it rains outside, the dogs are inside kind of thing. So this provides area for the dogs to still play. The grooming area is limited to this 25 by 28 area in the front right of the property, or of the building. Any other questions about the interior?
On the front with the outside play areas and stuff, do you meet all of the setbacks there?
Yes. So what we're actually doing is currently the existing building as it sits in the property is actually well within the 40-foot front setback. The proposed building actually meets that setback. As far as side setbacks, we do meet the side setbacks from the standpoint that we are substandard in lot width through the building.
Well,
Yep.
yeah, and you have, there's setbacks for the side yards, there's setbacks for the back.
Correct.
And what are those?
The side setbacks are actually reduced from 20 down to 7.5 feet. The 7.5 feet is actually, the outdoor play areas are actually within those setbacks as well. And then the rear is a 20-foot setback, and the rear of the property actually isn't even shown on this property. The limit of work is actually within that rear setback.
Okay. Do you want me to continue?
Sure.
Okay. One of the other questions I have, I know that, especially with outside, it's going to come up, number of dogs. I don't know if you've increased the number. I think the last time you had 65. 65.
Yep. We're actually asking for the exact same number of dogs and cats that were granted in the previous special permit, 65 dogs, 15 cats. We're actually also requesting the same hours of operation, being 7 a.m. to 6:45 Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays.
Okay.
So that's the only times that the outdoor use would be used.
Okay. I think the last time you had said the early morning, the earliest you would use the outside was, I think it was 6 o'clock or 6:30.
There may be a 15 minute overlap just from the standpoint of the boarding dogs. If the dogs stayed there overnight, there's they might be let out a couple of minutes early. I don't believe that anybody's actually at the.
I mean, yeah, between 6:30, if they board them during the summertime, yeah, when we get down there, the dogs go home.
Okay. Okay. And of course, some of the questions are going to be the same as the last time. There is some residential in that area. I think it's Buttonwood Plates across the road. I know there's like a little mini mall across the road. So there are certain buffers. And I think last time you had talked about the outside area being fenced in with a, I think, vinyl-coated fence.
Correct.
And so a concern, of course, is going to be dogs barking, how many are out at a time. You know, I know that sometimes dogs get excited, and it seems like they all bark. So how do you control all of that? How do you,
Well, again, that's actually done based on the direct supervision while the dogs are outside. Again, it's, even though the yellow area, outdoor play area shown is quite large, is actually going to be intermittent fenced-in areas, so the dogs will be located in each pen, or each selection of dogs will have someone that will be able to address any situations that arise. As you said, dogs are dogs. You know, their current location, the building is generally the same shape as what we're proposing, and for a number of years under operation, there was actually another retail business that was actually just on another side of a wall. So again, you know, it's an established business that has some pretty straightforward and time-tested.
Excuse me, it's still on John Fitch, right? Is that still
Yes.
the
Yep.
same location?
Yes,
Yeah.
same on, exactly. There was a mattress facility there, actually, you know, right through the wall. And the location on John Fitch is actually part of a business community, I guess. There's a donut shop, there used to be a restaurant, there's a number of businesses that are there that are open during these actual business hours that, you know, wouldn't be shy about making comments. So based on the track record and the model, it seems like the noise could be easily addressed. Also, the use is subject to a yearly permit from the Board of Health. So again, it's not like your decision tonight is an end-all, be-all, you know, of that concern. It's certainly something that can be readdressed every year.
okay. And then I'll go to the other thing that would come up would be the odor. And I know you say you control the odor, you keep it very clean. I'm sure that you do. You say you put it into a can, you put it in a dumpster in the back, and it's picked up for a week. Is there anything in the dumpster that controls that odor, or does it just not?
No, it's just plastic bags, and the dumpster remains closed.
Okay, so you put it in a plastic bag, seal the bag tightly, and then
Correct.
put the sealed bags.
Correct. It's the intermediary, smaller canister that it goes in when they pick it up from the yard or even within the building. And then that is actually emptied every night. Also, because this is part of a franchise, they actually have a outlined daily cleaning log, and actually a very thorough log of, you know, if there's excrement inside the building, how to clean it up with what type of solution, and the protocols that are in place. So it's as we said, it's an established business that has its, you know, many locations throughout the country that has been around. So they're not new to it. They know what to expect. And it's true when they say it's a very, very clean facility.
How many different franchisees are there? You got kind of a rough idea? 19?
Yeah, we're the only ones up this way. A lot of them are down south, like Arizona, Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, that way.
So again, that's, you know, that's not only is that locations, they're mostly vacation destination locations. So the same way that a resident wouldn't want to hear a barking dog constantly, people on vacation don't want to either. Probably more so, I'll tell you the truth.
That's all I have for now, right?
Well, Al is the dog expert around here, based on life experiences, so he's best one to ask the question to
Sensitive.
see if it's going to be reasonable. Wait, did I read, or did Al already ask it and I missed the point? But what do you do? Dog has to meet his personality criteria before you take him in?
Well, I speak, and they can certainly jump in, but I'm actually a longtime client as well. And they actually require that all the dogs and the animals are very current on all of their vaccinations. Not only the minimum ones that are kind of required, but also ones that are just a good idea if the dog's going to be around other dogs. So I happily get those done. My dog is very happy when he goes there. As far as, you know, passing a temperament and that type of thing, dogs are social animals, and I think that they are able to quickly find out if there's an issue with one dog or another. That's actually part of the business operation control, where they try to keep them in relatively smaller groups just to address any of those very quickly. Because there's a number of overnight boarding pens, there's plenty of locations to, separate two dogs or that might have an issue with each other. They don't like each other's smell or something like that, without tying them up to a tree outside or something like that.
That's not a part.
It's
that's
not,
part of
no,
the
they
protocol.
changed that in the notes.
My turn?
Huh?
Are you done?
I'm all set.
All
Oh,
set?
okay. Yeah, I've got a few
Al
questions.
took care of the problem.
What about signage?
There is one sign proposed. There's a existing granite bound that's really exposed that has one sign over the current outside display area. That's the exact same location as we're proposing. Our proposed sign will have the three uses: the Leominster Monument, the Preppy Pets, and then grooming by Alicia. It'll be internally lighted as the sign bylaw allows. Might have 339 on it somewhere. I don't know if they're going to name the plaza. No, they're going to name the plaza. So internally lit pylon sign right on the right-of-way, the front property line, and then there'll be three signs over the door of each business.
Have you gone through the development plan review already?
That's actually open. Our first hearing is actually next Monday on the 14th. So that's still open.
Curious if they got involved.
Yeah, no, he said that they had applied already. They just haven't been there yet. What about outdoor lighting? I mean, it gets quite, dark in the fall, as we all know. You said they're going to be out there till, say, perhaps 6 o'clock or so, so what's going to...
The outdoor lighting is limited to just the internal light of the sign, which isn't much to speak of.
But I mean, in the pen areas outside?
The pen areas, they'll be down firing, dark sky compliant,
Right.
just lighting. There's no, there's no spot lighting or anything like that, just the lighting along the building itself. There'll also be lights along the front to kind of illuminate the entrance, kind of make sure that the building can be seen from the road. But no site lighting from the traditional standpoint of in parking lots and things like that. It's a 10-space parking lot with limited pavement, so the internal lights and the flood down-facing external lights will be more than enough to see around everything.
Speaking of pavement, underneath the outside areas, what will be on the ground surface? I see you've got loam and seed.
Yep.
So in the outside fenced-in areas, what's going to be there?
The outside fenced-in area where the dogs play is actually going to be a synthetic grass, the same that Tom Brady's going out on tomorrow. A little bit different. It's called canine synthetic grass. The reason for that is that it actually will provide some filtering for any of the urine while not getting muddy, so that, when any excrement or something like that happens outside, you'll be able to pick it up. Also for general hygiene, just no mud.
So it's washable, cleanable?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
Does it heat up like regular AstroTurf? No, okay.
Wow. Nice one.
How many trips a day do you expect in and out of your facility?
Well, if you expect 65 dogs, what's your maximum
130?
play group? So, yeah, about 50 a day, but again, they're spread out. I know I personally, I'm waiting for the door to unlock right at 7 o'clock, and I'm there. If the door doesn't unlock right away, I might be there for 45 seconds. If it does, then I'm there for 20. So the vehicle trips are very in and out. That's what the decreasing of the curb cut will actually help kind of identify the site movements in and out. So yeah, it's not crazy, but less than 100.
Okay, and I'm just kind of curious as to whether if there's some sort of co-ownership between you and the monument, because I see you're sharing a bathroom. That's kind of unusual.
Actually, the three people sitting in front of you own the property, and they are the primary owners and operators of all three businesses.
Okay.
Do you own the grooming?
Right.
They know the grooming lady very well about that.
No, I just thought
Yeah.
that was kind of unusual. You're all going to share those two bathrooms. And
Yeah.
didn't look completely secure if I was a business owner, but I see it's, that's
Well,
not the case. Yeah, right, no, I get that
Still a family.
sense, so.
And the other part is those are granite monuments, so if you break in, good luck trying to run down the street with them.
All right, Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Okay. How does the size of this facility compare to your present location? You've mentioned, the reason I'm asking is that you've indicated you're looking for the same number of dogs and cats. By the way, are there any other types of animals or birds?
Or a lizard.
Things that generally stay in cages.
No snakes? Okay, my wife would be happy. So that was the reason for the question. So is this size relatively the same as what you?
The difference, so the difference would more or less be.
Could you identify yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Kelly. I'm one of the owners of Preppy Pet
okay.
and Lemonster Monument.
you.
The difference is this size is actually a little bit smaller, but the way we have it set up is run easier. So where we are now, we have a lot of wasted space that just because of the way it's set up, we can't use it. So this space is plenty big enough for, what we need to do and stuff. We're still running. And actually, we're going to have more outdoor area with this space than we would our last, which, when the weather's nice, the dogs do spend a lot of time outside, and stuff too, so.
Now, this is referring specifically to our bylaw number as it was identified in the application, 4631K, which is a kennel license, and it has a number of items under here that you must be in compliance with. Have you been licensed as a kennel for how many animals already?
In Lunenburg?
That's not a requirement in Fitchburg?
No, they have been. Yes,
Yeah.
they have, but not in Lunenburg.
So where does that application for license stand?
It doesn't stand. We're not granted the special permit to do the use right now, so.
Okay, I
once
guess
the-
my point is, these are all items, these lists of items under this paragraph must be adhered to, so you're familiar with those. You've been through that?
Yes,
Okay. It's interesting that the first requirement here, it doesn't exactly fit what you're doing anyway, but it seems to be closest of any of the bylaws that I looked at. I did check the retail commercial, which it references in this bylaw section, and that would refer back to retail operation, retail commercial, 4521F for the board members, if you'd like to look at that, which is retail store service establishment, the principal activity of which shall be the offering of goods or services at retail within a building. So you've got a mix of the retail, the services, and the product with the monument too, so.
correct. It is a mixed use. The
Yeah.
kennel is the one that needs a special permit. All the other ones are by right.
That's the only thing that will require a license within the
Correct,
Lunenburg community.
correct.
And you're familiar with the requirements laid out within this bylaw, right?
Correct.
Because that would be something that the animal control officer would frequent you for.
Correct. That's the yearly permit that I mentioned previous.
Okay. I guess that was all of the questions that I had, too. Everything else has been addressed.
Okay. You also wouldn't have any intention of selling pets, selling dogs, selling? Okay, okay.
That would be bad customer relations for the board.
Actually, we bought our dog from the kennel we were bringing dogs to. I want him.
Okay, so, let's bring it to the board, seeing that there's no public here. Any further discussion? Al?
No, I don't think so. I think I'm all set.
Al, you're as appropriate to make a motion.
Yeah, I'm satisfied, I get home, so.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant the special permit to operate the dog boarding facility and daycare as requested in their application.
I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and any further discussion? I guess one of the points that I would make, my understanding is that they're requesting the same hours of operation as what we previously approved in 2009.
That's
So
correct,
that
sir.
would be also included in this decision.
I would reference all the conditions in the 2009 decision, since it's pretty much the same application.
So, and that sounds reasonable to you folks?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You create that as conditional. Make that as, required as conditional or just understanding?
No, it's
No, it's going to
conditioned.
be conditioned in the
Yeah.
same fashion that it was in the last
Okay.
hearing. Anything else?
Not from my point of view.
Okay,
You get a second?
and so I'm ready for a vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. So the motion carries, and I just have a few things to review with you. The special permit is granted with the contingency that the petitioner comply with all licenses, regulations, statutes, and ordinances of any and all applicable local, state, and federal boards or agencies with jurisdiction over the premises. This kind of covers everything that you required. The granting of the special permit shall inure to the benefit of the applicant and shall cease in the event the business is sold or sublet to another party. Special permit is subject to a periodic review by the permit granting authority or the enforcement officer to ensure compliance with the enumerated conditions. Non-compliance to these conditions may result in revocation of this permit. Copy of the board's decision shall be filed with the town clerk within 14 days. Any party aggrieved by the board's decision may appeal to Superior Court within 20 days after the decision is filed with the town clerk. No permit shall take effect until a copy of the decision bearing the certification of the town clerk that 20 days have elapsed after the decision has been filed is recorded in the Registry of Deeds. And the permit shall lapse within 2 years unless substantial use or construction has commenced. And with that, we wish you the best of luck in this
Yep, good luck.
move.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Kelly, can I just ask what your last name is?
It's Pearson, Pearson.
Okay, thank you.
Can you move that down in that direction?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion to adjourn and second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye, aye. Wow, it's hot up here. I'm melting.
I'm going to give you a little clip back. How's that?
Okay. Yes,
Where did these come from, out of the woodwork?
that's the application that we went over at another meeting, and I don't know what this is.
That's John
That's something
Smith.
for, that's, those are Don Smith's,
Grandfathered lots and plan
yes.
protection.
Now, we're having a meeting 2 weeks from tonight.
We don't have any information on the new meeting, right?
I have it right here.
Okay.
The only thing I didn't put in here was a copy of the hearing notice, which I don't know why I didn't. I guess.
I could hear everything.
You good? Good.
Very good.
Okay, so this is 2 weeks from tonight, 7 o'clock, and this is all we have. And this is the little restaurant that's going in, the Village Grill. They want to put outside a patio. Let me just put the date on.
he wasn't gonna do that till the spring, but.
Well, he's not gonna, but he wants to move forward with the